Uh,
There we are.
I'm so sorry. I muted your microphone by accident. I apologize because you had muted it and I didn't unmuted it. I'm so sorry.
Ha!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mary Walter Radio. How is everybody? It is so good to see you. I'm a little off center, aren't I? My husband was using it and he had a meeting, so he was using it. So
Yeah, make me think about that. I'm like, well,
yeah, I'm a little off center. And it's a little, okay, there we go. A little better.
I've been
So
called
a lot.
worse.
Listen, look, a lot of people are chiming in already. First of all, if you're new to the show, I'm Mary Walter. This is my work husband, James Rabick. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live on YouTube and Getter. You can leave questions if you are watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Getter, you can leave questions as well, comments. I just have to read them out loud because they will not transfer over to the YouTube screen, to the YouTube feed. But YouTube, they come right up and we can put them up. We can address them. And the audio will be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify an hour or so after the show. It all depends on how quickly I get to it. And I'm really tired today. I say that pretty much every Tuesday. I don't know what it is about Tuesdays, but I had quite the day. I have a friend who just wonderful, dear friend. And do you ever know somebody who just like goes, so much crap gets thrown at them? And they just have the best attitude ever about it. I mean, it's serious stuff. Like her husband died when she was like 33 and he was 36, right? And then, in the last 2 months, last 6 months, 2 close friends died. Her best friend died. And then a close friend died. She's, she's got all these medical problems that are no fault of her own. It's just weird stuff that has happened to her. She's a double amputee from her knees down, right?
Jesus.
But I will tell you, the best attitude and great sense of humor. And I said, I always tell her, like, God, you were so amazing. She goes, I don't have a choice.
I love that attitude.
So yeah, she goes, what am I going to do?
Right.
What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do about this, right? So since her friend who lived close to her passed away, she has no way because she has an infection. So she can't wear both of her legs. She can only wear one. And she's like, well, I can hop around, but she can't drive. So she can't get to her medical appointments. And I found out she couldn't get to her medical appointments. So like, I live an hour away. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want to bother you. Like, oh my God. So I took her. This is the second appointment I've taken her to, and she got good news. She can start wearing her prosthesis again, because she's been in the home for 8 weeks by herself.
I mean, I could do that, but still, it's one thing to choose to be in the house for 8 weeks by yourself, but it's another thing when you have to be in the house for 8 weeks.
Right. So I took her to the doctor today, and we went. She wanted to go to Costco. She had to go to Costco, and she's so funny. She knows she can wear one leg, so she puts that in the cart, like the bottom of the cart where you put the like the cases of stuff, right? So she wedges she turns the foot sideways, then puts it in there so she can hold on to the cart, and she pushes it, and I push the wheelchair. so she pushes the cart and I push the wheelchair.
That would go viral. It would be so sweet and tender. That'd be such an awesome video.
But I make her give me hand signals because I never know where she's going to go, and I'm afraid we're going to jackknife. So, so I make her give me hand signals. So we laugh about it, right? They just laugh about it. And like in the parking lot, because there's no handicap parking anywhere. We couldn't get a handicap parking spot at the doctor's office, which is connected to the hospital. They were all full. Costco was all full. Where else did we go? I had to drop something off at White House Black Market. We got a spot there. We went somewhere else. Oh, the diner, couldn't get a handicap spot. So I parked her in a handicap spot somewhere and then drove around. I said, don't let anybody take this spot. And I left her in the wheelchair in the handicap spot. I'm like, don't move. And she's like, where am I going to go? So we had a fun day today. So we did that. But I will tell you, lifting a 41-pound wheelchair in and out of a minivan type thing.
Yeah, that's a real treat. That's a workout.
And at Costco, I had to push her. We were in the far reaches. You would have thought it was Black Friday. The far reaches of the parking lot. And I pushed her all the way up to Costco.
Ooh.
but the way back it was downhill. So I'm like, hang on. And I just pushed her and let her go.
Like the fun ride of her life, right? Like, yay! So it's like one of those roller coaster people with the camera, like, ah!
Oh God. So anyway, so I had a really fun day today. I don't want anybody to think I'm complaining at all. It's a heavy wheelchair, but I did my lifting.
You
So
did your work for the
I
day?
did that, but we had a fun day. So I can't complain. I'm just tired. I'm just tired anyway.
I get that.
If you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please like the podcast. You go back and watch previous podcasts. Please, if you do, please like them. I just saw coming in about an hour ago, we have Vinyl Thoughts as a new subscriber. So thank you, Vinyl Thoughts.
Thank you, Vinyl Thoughts.
Thank you to EB for doing all of our graphics and everything. And his wonderful son, Zach, who is our biggest fan, our number one fan. Absolutely. All right, let's get to some of the comments before we jump in here. By the way, Bill was in at 6:55. And look who's back.
Sir.
Ron is back. Ron's been gone for a while. He's back.
He's back. Welcome back, buddy.
Yep. Porchview Farm is here. Yes.
Hello.
Ron, I don't see your culture wars topic as a little lighter. I promo that we're going to be a little bit later tonight. Look who's here. Now Tax USA. Who has the key to Locker 50? LOL, not me. I don't know what that means.
Movie?
I don't know. You're the dude. Is that from a movie?
It sounds like it's from a movie.
It does.
Yeah, I can't place it.
No. Ringo. Hi, guys. So excited to see Geddy Lee from Rush tomorrow. I know it's her favorite. Well, no, Donnie's her favorite.
So there's before we read a comment real quick, this is the first time our concert worlds are converging. It's not a concert. It's a speaking engagement for his new book. But still like the first time like our things converge. And I don't know if you believe this, but we concert differently.
Okay.
Our attitudes about concerts or sort of how we get there, how quickly we proceed, how long we should hang out, they're very, very different. So we had to we had to decide like, who's this one for real? Who gets to be the leader of this one? I lost. But I mean, you know, it was fun to think that I had a choice, you know?
Yeah. Gregory says that time change has wiped me out. When it's 7 p.m., I feel like it's 9 p.m. Yes. But you fall behind. Fall behind is easier. It's spring forward that's the really tough one. I find that.
Did we lose all this stuff eventually? Didn't they pass a thing that no more jump aheads or backs as of some time period here?
Well, apparently not, because we just did it. So
yeah.
Jerry, a little late, but South Jersey checking in. Hello, my friend. Oh, my phone is on. Look at that. Hold on. Hold on. Hang on. Okay. In the midst of a podcast. Somebody wanted to call me. I'm like, not right now. Portrait Farm says it bothers her too. Yeah, I don't know. White House cocaine scandal.
Oh, that locker. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. The random cocaine that just popped up in the White House.
Yes. Okay. Gregory says, I hope that Mr. Lee lives up to your expectations.
I feel like he will, Gregory. I'm pretty sure he's one of my heroes. I've only disappointed him twice, so we'll see how it goes.
Rigo says, do you ever win?
No. I didn't have to think about that one. No.
So this is not a singing type.
No, it's he's on his second book called My Effin' Life, and it's like he wrote a memoir and a book about basses previously. So this is his second book tour, I guess you'd call it, like speaking engagement. But it's at the Met in Philly, which is the old Metropolitan Opera House. So it's a big venue, you know, to do a book speaking thing. And in New York, the guest speaker was Paul Rudd. I found that'd be kind of cool, kind of funny. I don't know who's going to be in Philly. I hear it's different every time. So.
Oh, good. Thursday, I went to see Brian Kilmeade. He was like 15 minutes from my home. He was in Red Bank. And he is doing a book tour too, because he wrote another book. He writes historical books. Have you read any of them? They're really good.
He wrote the new one's the one about Lincoln, right? Is that the newest one?
No, the new one's Teddy Roosevelt and Booker T. Washington.
Oh, yeah. Right.
So his books are really good if you like history at all. And what he does is he takes a character from history whose name you know, and something that and either pairs it up. It's always about two people. So like it was George Washington and the Secret Six. So those were the, and that was about the if you ever watched the History Channel's Turn, remember that show Turn?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was about the Secret Six out in Setauket on Long Island and everything. And so he does. One was about the Alamo. One was Jefferson and somebody else. And so this one is Teddy and Booker. Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates. Thomas Jefferson and the Tripoli Pirates.
Nice.
So he takes something about them in history, a story that you never have heard, and he tells the story.
Yeah, the Marines. That's a big part of the Marine story. Yeah.
That's how they started from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Right. Yeah.
It's part of their story.
So I love
but real. I mean, that's a real thing. That's what people don't always.
Right.
You hear the song, but you don't remember. That's a real event.
Yeah. So I really, really like the book. So he was going to be in right 15 minutes from me, and his producer was my old producer. James was one of my producers. Like I've got a lot of ex-producers.
You got a few, yeah.
Producers. But she works for him now, and so she's producer of Spots, and she's kind of like his personal assistant, right? So she goes everywhere. She's on a plane to Nashville right now for the the Fox Awards or whatever they're doing, and so she helps put these tours together. So what he's doing this time is you could buy a VIP ticket and you get in early, and so it was at the Vogel, and people got in early, and for an hour he stands there and he talks to them and he tells them different stories about this, and he lets them ask questions. And it was interesting, but what I found was his presentation was super interesting. So it kind of sounds like what Geddy Lee is going to do.
Yeah, very similar.
Brian Kilmeade is hilarious.
Yeah.
I had no idea how stinking funny he is. He's witty. He's hilarious. And he talks about his different books and the different stories, and he tells the stories. For instance, and I haven't read the book yet, the Roosevelts were the first president, first family to have a Black family dine in the White House as official guests. Really? And he had Booker T. Washington and his family.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
I did not know that. Yeah, I never knew that. That's very cool.
Right. So
it's a real character. In a good way. I mean, like a real character in history, like just a storied fella.
But, when you look at race relations today, you would never believe that something like that happened because it doesn't fit the narrative of America, such a racist country, Now, some people said it was too far too fast, especially for the South. Like the Democrats couldn't handle it.
Right.
So, they had to back off a little bit, but they worked behind the scenes together, Booker T. Washington and Teddy Roosevelt, to improve race relations in the country. And it's a story that's not told.
Right.
So that's what
he's
about. So yeah, so that was really fun. So it sounds kind of like the same thing that you're going to do with. Is that this weekend? You're doing that?
That's tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow during the week, a school night.
A school night, and she wants to do the wait after and see if he walks out like he did in New York the other day. So it's going to be a late one. That's all right. It's fine.
My hunch is she's the one who likes to go early, at least a little bit early, so you don't miss a thing. And she wants to stay there late, so you go afterwards. And you would slide in halfway through and think it was wonderful.
We went to see the Laurel Canyon Band, which is the band that we've told this story that kind of got us hanging out together again. They're a Crosby, Stills and Nash tribute band. And we were the first people at the theater. I mean, like knocking on the window, like seeing a staff meeting inside. Oh yeah. Like she definitely likes to get there early, and in my hippie days, I was always the shows early too, but for a completely different reason. So
yeah. Let's see. We have now seen Donny Osmond, Peter Noon. We are now changing it to James likes Geddy Lee and Government Mule. I love Rush too. Good. All right. I want to there's a couple things I want to get to. First of all, I apologize for my outfit. I know it's a little Christmassy, but it's just so comfy. So when James heard we were going to talk about like some later topics and like Thanksgiving parade and Christmas lights, he decided to wear a bathrobe. That's his excuse. I don't think it's his excuse. I just think he didn't want to take the bathrobe off and have to put pants on. That's pretty much where I'm going.
I won't stand up and prove that, but maybe.
Thank you. But I love this. It's like it's a onesie. Ooh. And I love it. It's so comfy and it has like a little hood.
It looks warm.
It's so comfy, and I've been so cold because we still don't have the heat on in the house.
Right.
So, we tend to live, like homesteaders, and because I'm tired, I just couldn't shake the cold. I just couldn't shake it. So I was like, I'm bundling up. I'm so cold. So, okay. Do you watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade?
I have.
But it's not like a thing that you do every year.
It's a tradition. I just try and find myself like sometimes helping cook or.
So you don't enjoy it?
I do, but I don't. I don't know if I can watch the whole thing. I check in.
Right. Okay.
I see some floats and stuff,
I like to watch, although it's early. I think they moved it an hour early this year because a football game or something. It used to be like 4 hours long, and they've shortened it up, I think, because of the American attention span is a hot second, but also because of football, right? So they're trying to schedule the football games. But it's a tradition. I grew up watching it. My mother used to put us in front of the TV. Each kid, 3 kids, 3 different boxes of cereal. And they didn't care. I had hand of God true, Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry. Each one of us had our own, and we'd sit there. We were allowed in the TV room and the bathroom. That was it. You were not allowed in the kitchen. My mother was cooking. Santa came. So my mother knew she had like a good 4 hours without a child bothering her. Santa arrives at the end of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So, and we were all popped up on Boo Berry and Count Chocula and everything. I was like, Santa's coming back! Crazy people. But we were bouncing off the walls in the rec room, so she didn't care.
Right.
And then after that, on WPIX Channel 11 is March of the Wooden Soldiers. So we would watch March of the Wooden Soldiers, and somebody would get scared because of the boogeymen. And every year, and we'd watch that, and that was our tradition. So my mom got like a good 6 hours of uninterrupted time. So I kind of feel, and you can listen at, I think it's 10 a.m. on Q1043 in New York. They play Alice's Restaurant in its entirety on Thanksgiving.
Love it. Yeah.
Right? That's great.
Down our way in Philadelphia, that's 1029 plays in its entirety.
Oh, it does? Yeah.
Yeah, they do it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's a great song.
There's just those little traditions. So I was a little upset to hear that apparently there's controversy over the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade this year. So apparently over 20,000 people have signed onto an online campaign over the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade because they're making a point to include non-binary, transgender, blah, 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 whatever.
Okay.
So here's my thing. Why does everything have to have a message, right? Like, why? Why does everything have to have a message? Why can't you just have people? Why do I have to have a message served with everything I consume? Why?
Now, in fairness, are we concerned? And then not you. I mean, is the protest coming from people who don't want a trans float, or is it that has to be a special thing made for a trans float?
No,
I wouldn't care about a pride float at all in the Macy's parade.
I do.
I don't even know if I noticed.
Is there a float for straight people? Is there a float for people who are into bestiality? Why do I need a float based on your sexual identity? Why? What does that have to do with Thanksgiving? No.
Well, I'm just saying a bestiality float to be a lot of puppies.
No.
Okay.
I mean, but seriously, do you have to have a float? Who gives to, if you want to be accepted, stop shoving it in my face.
Well, I get what you're saying. In fairness, I just think and that's what it is, right? There is a special.
It's not a float. No.
Oh,
what it is so they have like the little Broadway numbers in between, and that like in the beginning, Rhoda loves to watch the beginning because they do a lot of the Broadway stuff.
Right.
So 2 of the performers this year, Justin David Sullivan and Alex Newell. Sullivan is in a play called And Juliet, and he plays Juliet's non-binary friend May. So it's a trans play, right?
Okay.
And he has opted out of the Tony Awards because he doesn't think there should be gendered categories. So men can play women and win women's awards, that whole thing.
Okay.
It's pushing too far. You had
me until he was protesting.
Alex Newell won a Tony Award for playing the female role, playing a woman in Shucked, a Broadway play, played the role of Lulu, and uses the pronouns he, she, they, like I give two flying F's in the wind about what your pronouns are. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Wears women's clothes in public appearances, dressed in a shimmering gold ball gown for the Tonys, but it's a dude. Why is he playing women's roles? Why is that happening?
I don't. I'm not a Broadway person. I don't know. I guess they like them.
So I think,
but I'll tell you, that is strange that you can do that, but you can't be a black actor and voice an Asian guy.
Exactly.
Right? Like, you can't voice another race at this point, so I'm confused if that's okay. By the way, I think it's all okay. I don't.
But a Hispanic man can play Alexander Hamilton, a white guy.
Well, theoretically, by modern standards, no.
Well, we've seen that one, don't we?
Well, I'm saying that would already happen, though. Like, I wonder if you're going to get a new play where you're going to see a Hispanic guy play a white guy, or.
Well, yeah, because we've decided that women, the only racism that's acceptable now is against white people. Like, you could be as racist as you want against white people. You can be as bigoted as you want against Jews, and women can be erased. Women, they don't need women anymore to climb the victimhood pyramid or further whatever the cause happens to be. Right? They don't need women anymore. Women are being erased. White people will be erased. Jews are erased. Like, this is what we're doing, right? So I think the problem here is that they specifically chose these people. Why?
I don't know. I would have thought that far past it. So it's hard for me to even. I mean, I know where you're headed with it, but I mean, that's the funny thing. Like, it wouldn't even have occurred to me if you not said there was a protest about it. I wouldn't even have thought about it. It just would have been parade people. I just would have saw a parade.
You know, I get representation, but if you want true representation, let's give each specific group the representation consummate with their part in the population then. Right? I wonder how many non-binary, whatever the hell that effing means, people would be in the Macy's Day Parade then.
500. I was trying to do the math in my head. Sorry. Carry the one.
Can you put 0.7% of a person in?
That's why the math was hard.
Right. So that's my point. I mean, if you're going to play this game, then let's play it all the way through.
Right.
But they don't want that. So I'm just so sick and tired of everything having a message. I have to have a message constantly shoved down my throat. Porchview Farm says she watches the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade every year.
Aw.
Ringo, it's a mandatory thing at my mom's house, so he will be watching it this year. Porchview Farm, I worked at Macy's Distribution one season and was there for a parade. It's an amazing experience. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I'd like to go to the parade. Watching it's one thing, but I think going to it would be amazing.
I don't know. My brother did that. My brother took the girls and everything. The problem is it's not the cold. There's no place to go to the bathroom. You got to take the train in because there's no place to park your car. You know, when he had the kids, he's got 3 girls who I'm not peeing on the side of the road. You know, like it's a lot. It's a lot and you're standing for hours and hours on end. That's the other thing.
You had 2 of my Achilles heels.
The other thing people do is you go the night before when they blow up some of the floats on the Jersey side, the balloons, and they bring them through the tunnel. They close the tunnel and they bring them through the tunnel. And that's a thing. And then they blow up the really, really big ones in the New York side. And you can go and watch them. They start at like 4:00 in the morning blowing up the balloons. And that's like a big deal to go watch them. But nowadays you can get killed. Somebody's going to kill you. So I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, New York's a little tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. Gregory, I like the parade itself. I find most of the musical acts they schedule between the actual parade quite lame.
Yeah.
I love making fun of Al Roker with his dopey statistics. So this float is the length of 14 atomic subs. I'm like, how long is an atomic sub? Like the dumbest.
Thank you, weather guy.
Ron, I had to look up Macy's parade controversy. Yuck, seems our culture has been hijacked and is headed to hell. Gregory, I'm waiting for the Macy's dog and pony show. Yeah.
Oh, I'd
My
watch
mom
that.
lived Porchview Farm. My mom lived in New York City when Sleigh Ride was written and recorded for the Windows. She was in middle school after World War II. Wow, that's cool.
That is awesome.
Ron, the odd world of cultural appropriation. Cultural inappropriation. Oh, because we said the lighter side. I said we're going to do a lighter side tonight. Porchview Farm. I can march in it if I want since I was an employee.
Get out, really?
Yeah. Well, I guess because they need the volunteers to hold down all the
all the
floats and
things,
everything.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
That's
to tell you,
cool.
I'm surprised Macy still has the cash to do it because no offense to anybody, but it's really turned into a sucky store.
I mean, I can't believe there's still stores.
Yeah,
Have you
I
ever
can.
Have you walked into a mall? Any mall. Any mall. I
Well,
don't care. You tell me about your malls, but I'm just telling you, any mall I've gone to anywhere in the last couple of years are ghost towns in every state.
it depends on where you go. Monmouth Mall here, but they're totally redoing it. So they push a lot of merchants out because they're building like townhouses or whatever on top of them or rentals or whatever, and then the stores are going to be underneath because everybody wants to live above, a Spencer's Gift. I don't know why you would want to do that, but that's the new thing that they're doing. So they're revitalizing that. I will tell you, when I went to Costco today, and it was Costco, it's like a big strip mall thing, and it's a very, very big shopping area
Right.
with a lot of different stores. When I tell you, you could not get a spot, it seriously was like the day after Thanksgiving. It was seriously like Black Friday. It was so packed.
Wow. I
And
mean, we're
this
not
is
near Christmas, but still, I mean,
1 o'clock in
that's
the
impressive.
afternoon, packed.
Wow. Good
Yep.
mall.
And I'll tell you, Freehold. I know Freehold Mall. I'm naming malls. A lot of people don't know what they are, but Freehold Raceway Mall. Freehold, yeah, Jersey has more malls per capita than any other state. Freehold Raceway Mall will be packed, I'm sure, at all times because it's a good mall.
Right.
Short Hills Mall is a good mall.
Shorter Mall is a very cool mall.
It's
What people
I can't afford
at
anything in the Short Hills Mall. It's like
Yeah.
when I tell
Yeah.
you, it's like Jimmy
Bougie.
Choo,
Yeah,
La Bouton, Henri Bendel, like Cartier. That's what the Short Hills Mall is. It's not like a typical Jersey, mall.
Right. But
There's no Cinnabon. There's no Cinnabon in the food court.
Yeah. No Mickey D's on the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that doesn't exist there. And I feel like Menlo Park is still rocking. I think Woodbridge Mall is still going. So some of them are still hanging in there. Okay. Now I talked about this. I put this out on Twitter, so I'm sure some people saw it on Twitter. But I just wanted to get your opinion on this. And for people who didn't see it on Twitter, or I talked about it yesterday on radio in Dallas, my news station in Dallas that I'm doing. When do you put your Christmas lights up or your decorations up?
I like right after Thanksgiving, maybe sometime around there.
Yes.
It makes the most sense.
Now, Ron Squeaky here does a whole display. He does it for Halloween. He does the whole, like his Halloween display. He sent me videos before. It's like crazy lights and music and all this stuff. And it's so decorated and it's wild. And he does it for a lot of different holidays. So my hunch is for Christmas. Well, I know for Christmas, he does the same thing. Like the lights, he's an engineer. So he gets into works for Bell Labs, like into all of that's the technical stuff, right? So I know he does an incredible display. So I get that you may start that early. But Saturday night, I was coming back from Freehold, and I was driving by, and I noticed like there are people who have Christmas lights on. And someone said to me, well, maybe it's Diwali. I'm like, well, unless they use red, green, and white in Diwali, it wasn't Diwali, number one. And do you light your house up for Diwali? Because I don't think you do. I'm not up on my Diwali,
yeah, I'm not either, but
holiday traditions. But and now the big thing, I've gotten several of these cards to have your house professionally decorated. Have you seen those?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Right? It's a big thing where
that's how a lot of those people, not like Ron, but a lot of those people have those just outstanding houses. They paid some money to have somebody do it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I have to tell you, listen, I think it's ridiculous, but God bless you if you have that kind of cash and that's what you want to do. Good for you, because the
Right.
houses do look spectacular. And
Sure.
we drove by one. My husband and I drove by one. I'm like, whoa, look at that. He goes, that's professional. I was like,
Yeah.
I know, but look, it's beautiful. But it's the second week in November. Like, what? Why are we putting the Christmas stuff up? And I've seen two houses where you could see a Christmas tree on in the house, like in the window. Christmas tree.
Yeah. If I
What
think
is
if it were up to Ringo,
happening?
she'd already have them up. I imagine she'd already have them up.
Well, let's see.
She is a Christmas fanatic.
Ron says, how, where, when did this Christmas lights up running day after Halloween start? I don't know. To me,
Not me
it's the
either.
commercialization of Christmas. People are like, oh, but it feels good and they need some Christmas cheer. And I'm
Yeah, I
like,
buy
it's
that.
not about the lights. It's not about the tree.
Well,
It's
inherently, though, any of those lights aren't about Christmas. I mean, you are putting them up for entertainment purposes, right? You're not putting them up for Jesus.
right.
I don't see
It's
Christmas lights and like hallelujah, you know.
it's a tradition. My mom always
Yeah.
had this thing that fit in our screen door. She would take the glass from the screen door, and my mother was Martha Stewart. If my mother had been smart, she could have been as wealthy as Martha Stewart, but she, didn't put her mind to it, I guess. She would make this thing that she covered the door in. It was like felt, I guess it was. It was some kind of material. And then she had all the cutouts, and it was a star and the manger, and it said, Jesus is the reason, right? For the season, right? And that would go,
Right.
and then she put that over the glass that goes in the storm door. And then my father would put a big spotlight on it, right? So I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of. I hate the commercialization of Christmas. It drives me crazy. Like, I'm sorry, if you're Jewish and have Christmas trees, you have no business having a Christmas tree. I know you want one because it's pretty and you want one, and I have friends who go, it's a Hanukkah bush. I'm like, that's insulting. How would you feel if I just took a menorah, which again, a Christmas tree is not a religious symbol.
Right.
It
That was
it,
going to be
it
my
it's
point. Actually, it's not
yeah,
really a
it's
religious
not.
symbol at all. It is the commercialization you're talking about. So that's why
Right.
I don't find the tree or any of that stuff offensive. But if they started hanging, Jesus is Jesus the reason for the
Jesus
season.
is the reason for the
Yeah.
season.
Now, if your Jewish friends put that up, that's a little insult.
Yeah, that's a little different.
although very pointed. True.
But all of the commercialization takes away, I think, from the real meaning of Christmas, and takes it away from being a
Right.
religious holiday into being a secular holiday, and it drives me crazy. Tina says if it was me, it would be up November 1st. I like the idea of extending the holly jolly feeling. Unfortunately, we haven't lived anywhere where I can decide we can put it up then. No, and you're not going to put them up now. Too early.
No.
Too early. See, I don't care if you hang your lights and don't light them until after Thanksgiving. That's fine. I get that you gotta, have some time to put them up and everything. And, hubby always tries to do it when it's nice out and then winds up doing it the day that it's the coldest day of the year. It's just always works out that way.
Or like your people last year, you put your tree up after Christmas.
Which I do every year. Every year our tree goes up after Christmas. Ron says, my neighbor who said too early now has his Christmas lights up and on. Should I give in? No. Because his are going to become old and people are just going to get used to seeing his lights. And then when yours come on, because they're going to be better, it's going to like boom the day after Thanksgiving, and no one's going to be looking at his house because they've been up for weeks and everybody's used to them now.
That's very wise. That makes a lot of sense. That's called star power right there.
Right there.
You know that. That's the way.
You know what it is? It's like tastefully late, but you make an entrance because all eyes are on you then.
Yep. And the opposite is it's like that commercial that's really funny the first 45 times you hear it. And then after you've heard it 45 times, you're like kind of sick of it. You drive by really fancy lights enough, you're like, they're fancy lights. They have no wow factor. Like, you're smart. Like, give them less
like
time
now,
so they have more wow factor.
People are noticing it now, but in a couple of weeks, they're not even going to see it anymore because it's there all the time.
I'm not disparaging these people, and I don't know if any of them are fans, but in my hometown of Cherry Hill, right off a very famous road called Route 70, there's a whole family in like a long area that all do lights. And they put out a little thing for like donations to a charity. It's very sweet and cool. But it's up a long time. Like, and so if you live in the area, you're just like, oh, there's those Christmas lights again.
Right. Exactly.
And by the way, they're amazing. I mean, it's the detail these people go into, and I'm sure people we're talking about too, like Ron, and the detail people can put into Christmas lights or decorating your house is insane.
Right. Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, but I'm glad they do it because it makes me happy. You know, it's nice to see. I like it. Sure. I like it.
Yeah.
Gregory, Diwali, it's the festival of light over darkness. We had a tremendous feast at work today in celebration. Wow. Do you have a tremendous feast at work for Christmas? Or is it for the holiday season?
I heard Christmas at my work last year.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I think there are a lot of places who never say it's a holiday tree. Really? Like, what's the holiday? And, like, and they will twist 16 ways from Sunday to avoid saying Christmas.
Right.
But yet, you know, they did it at where my husband works. They had a little, the Indian residents got together and did a Diwali lunch, you know, type thing. I'm like, that's really nice. And they have like a little signs up for Diwali. And I'm like, oh, do they put signs up for Christmas? He's like, well, yeah, they put up stuff. I'm like, yeah, snowmen, snowflakes. Yeah, there's nothing up religious though.
No, probably not. No, I'd think that's a toughie.
Yeah.
Wait, is Diwali a religious holiday or a cultural holiday?
I think it's a religious holiday.
Oh, I thought it was a cultural.
Gregory, you're the one who went to lunch today and learned about it. Tell us.
Tell us more, sir.
Is it religious or cultural? But a lot of the cultural things come from religion.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's true. Right.
Right. Thanksgiving came from the celebration with the Puritans and the Indians giving thanks to God for providing. That's where it comes from.
So are they then in Indian culture, you think, going, you see, they took it from the religious people and now they're just using it for commercial? I wonder if they have the same problem.
Yeah, I think
Wouldn't it be amazing every culture has that?
In this country, if you can sell it, it becomes commercialized. It's a holiday meal, although they do have a tree and a menorah and some weird Kwanzaa thing. Can I just say, the Kwanzaa thing is made up. I cannot get behind a holiday that's like younger than me.
I don't even know or understand. I'm not saying I mean, I'm just ignorant of it. I actually don't know what they do or how it works.
Made up. It's a made up holiday. Sorry, kids.
Not like the Festivus for the rest of us.
Exactly. I love Festivus. It's cute.
Me too.
Tina, it's never about the actual decorations. It's about the feeling. Christmas brings a happy feeling I don't normally feel the rest of the year round. So I love to extend the feeling. I get it. I get it. But the longer you have it, the more you dilute it.
Mm-hmm. Like a marriage. No, I'm just kidding.
Are you yelling at me? Oh, the IT department just yelled something. There are a couple of religious sects that celebrate Diwali. It's primarily Hindu. Okay. So there you go. Look at us learning.
Yeah, learning us. Hey, if anybody knows anything about Kwanzaa up there, let us know about that one too.
Okay, I'll tell you about Kwanzaa. Hold on.
Oh, you're gonna look it up?
Yeah.
Ooh, she's using that Google.
No, I'm using DuckDuckGo.
I was gonna say I use DuckDuckGo now.
Uh-huh.
I'm a fan. I actually think it's a better search engine. Which is completely off topic, but yeah, I do like DuckDuckGo better.
Who started Kwanzaa? Let me do it this way.
Yeah, I don't even know anybody who celebrates Kwanzaa, and I have some black friends. I don't think they celebrate Kwanzaa. Well, they're all Christians, so I don't know.
It was created by activist Maulana Karenga. So who is Maulana Karenga?
All right, going down a rabbit hole, are we?
I guess we are.
I love a rabbit hole.
Maulana Karenga. Oh, here we go. He's a 77. Oh, no. Okay, so he's probably in his 80s now.
Okay.
Oh.
What?
I don't know if we want to go down this rabbit hole.
Words we can't use?
The creator of Kwanzaa is Maulana Nedbik. Can't even say the name. Ndabezi. Okay. So now it's 18. He's 82 years old. He was a professor of Africana Studies at California State University in Long Beach. His real name is Ronald Everett.
Okay.
He was born in rural Maryland, the 14th child of a sharecropping Baptist minister. He was convicted in 1971 for brutally torturing 2 naked women. The weapons of torture included a soldering iron, a vice, and a toaster.
Okay.
The women were members of he had an ultra radical paramilitary black nationalist cult called U.S. Organization, which went by the acronym U.S. And this is according to some news stories that they link to, which I'm not going into. The women were, according to investigators, the women were held at gunpoint, forced to disrobe, and were beaten. Whipped with an electrical cord, beaten with a karate baton.
This is worse than the feats of strength for Kwanzaa. I mean, for Festivus.
Apparently, he did this because he believed that they were using magic crystals to assassinate him on behalf of his enemies. All right, but we're done looking into the
That's an
origins
interesting
of Kwanzaa.
celebration there. Okay, so
yeah, right.
Hey Ringo, if you're listening, we're going to start celebrating Kwanzaa. I'm going to stab you with a soldering iron.
Now, I don't know. Listen,
right.
Imperfect people can turn around. Like I don't know what his history is since then. So I'm not going to condemn the entire holiday based on something that happened in 1971, right? Who knows? Because he invented it, a couple, I want to say it was out, obviously. I think it was after that. So I don't know. So listen, there are some people I'm sure who practice it and believe that it's wonderful and they celebrate it and they have like 7 principles or whatever it is. And if you're good people, I don't care if you celebrate it. Knock yourself out. That's fine. I'm not going to condemn it because of that unless we delve deeper, and we're not delving deeper at this point. So if you want to, go into it, delve deeper, and get back to me. Where's my mouse thing? Okay. Let's see. Porch Farm, it is religious to Wally. I have several LinkedIn connections who send me stuff because they know I love festive holidays. I also send them Christmas and Easter greetings. That's nice.
Yeah.
She also says that Kwanzaa is a Marxist creation. Kwanzaa is a festivus for the rest of us, according to Jerry. Gregory, hell of a holiday. That's Kwanzaa. Well, again, I mean, that's the guy who started it.
Yeah, we haven't figured out the celebration yet.
Right. We haven't figured out how he got from that to creating this holiday. So if you want to delve into that, go into it, because who knows? It may be a totally different story, and he may have turned his life around for all we know, and became a good person and repentant and paid for his debts and for what he did, and is a good guy now. So I never want to be judged by things I've done in the past, although I've never done anything like that. So
nope, me neither.
Yeah.
I blew up a few fish in a pond once.
Oh.
I did when I was a kid.
Jerry, the dude that invented Kwanzaa acknowledged that his name is too hard to pronounce, so he just calls himself Kwanzaa Claus. I don't know if that's true, Jerry. Now it's actually say, just hope you don't get a toaster for Christmas. It's like last Tuesday when I almost lit the house on fire. Remember? Because I the toaster oven had flames. Okay.
You ruined the bread.
Okay. I have one more thing. What would you do?
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
So, okay. This happened in Fairfax County, Virginia. And last week, just after 5:00, officers responded to the report of a shooting.
Okay.
They get there, they find a 19-year-old suffering from gunshot wounds to the arm and lower body. He goes to, he's transported to the hospital, non-life-threatening injuries.
Okay.
Police, he's 19 years old, and police determined that he was approached by another teenager and was shot. A nearby home was also struck by a stray bullet. That stuff's scary. When they start shooting and bullets just come flying in. Shortly after the shooting, detectives were able to identify the shooter, and the shooter's 14 years old. The alleged shooter is 14 years old.
Ouch.
So police contact the mom, the boy's mother, and they go to his house. He wasn't there when police got there. Later that evening, the mother brought the 14-year-old boy to the police station where he was charged, and he's being held at the Fairfax County Juvenile Detention Center.
Sounds right.
Would you turn your kid in?
Hell yeah. Shooting somebody? Hell yeah.
Here's the thing. I think there are people who wouldn't do it. As a matter of fact, I know there are people who wouldn't turn their kid in.
100%.
I know there are people who wouldn't. Because the
Absolutely.
same thing happened years ago in Belmar. They had an MTV at the shore thing, and they were in Belmar. And these kids, there was a picture of this kid jumping on someone, the hood of someone's car, damaged the car, jumping on the car. And the father, it was on the front page of the paper, the father recognizes his kid, gets him out of bed, and takes him down to the police station. And
Absolutely.
a guy who worked at the radio station goes, I would never do that. I protect my children at all costs. I'm like, but what lesson are you teaching your kid? That could ruin their life, because they would, they'll have it on their record if they're over 18 years old, and it could ruin them. They can never get a job. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you teaching your kid if you don't turn them in?
Yeah, they also could shoot somebody else because they realize they can get away with it. Like you said, what are you teaching your kid, right? It's ridiculous.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
Well, plus, we live in a civil society, and whether they're your kid or your mother or your aunt or your uncle, there's just some things you shouldn't protect.
Right.
It's not like he threw a rock through a window, and even then, I'm saying, but like, okay, well, I'll just quietly pay for the window and I'll slap my own kid around and we'll call it a day. But, you shoot somebody, you don't work that out. You don't just go to the other family and go, hey, I know he shot you and he's okay, so I was 10 grand and we'll call it even. I mean,
but if my brother or I, my brothers or I threw a rock through someone's window, my parents would march us over to the house, make us apologize. I probably would then I would have gotten beaten. And then I'd have to write an apology letter, and my parents would make me take work. And every dime they paid me in my allowance would have to go to the neighbor to pay off for the window.
Absolutely. But they wouldn't turn you into the police for that one, is my point.
Oh, no.
Right. That's the kind of thing you can work out with a family, right?
Right.
But by what you're saying, I imagine those parents wouldn't even work that out. They'd just get back. I
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But here's the other thing. 14 years old, this kid can still be saved.
Yeah, of course.
So by turning this kid into the police, it doesn't say, we only hear references to mom, so dad may not be around, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's a way to kick this kid's butt. He is probably scared crapless right now.
Oh, yeah.
So I think absolutely I would turn my kid in. Porchview Farm says, like Earth Day, and Ira Einhorn, who shoved his rotting underage girlfriend into a trunk in his closet. Remember that in Philly?
Oh, no,
Ira Einhorn did that. Yes. Look it up. Oh, it's supposed to be Kwanzaa Claus, according to Jerry. Gregory, my mother and father would have turned me in a New York minute. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. I'll never forget, my father had the conversation with each of us. If you think you're old enough to decide to do adult things like drink underage, drive after you've had drinks, other things that we knew we shouldn't have been doing. He's like, if you're old enough to make the decision and you think you're old enough to participate in adult activities, you're also old enough to accept the adult responsibilities and consequences. Yep, right. And one of those, he said, don't waste your only phone call on me, because I'm not coming to get you. And we all knew he wasn't going to come. We all knew it. Right. There is no way my father would ever come and get us. And we all knew it. He would let us sit there.
I buy that.
Yeah. I have mad respect for this mom. But I also think a single mom is super hard. And if you're a single mom, especially in an area that maybe, I don't know what this Mount Vernon area is like. I'm not sure. I know where, Fairfax County is, but I don't know this area in particular. But if it sounds like an area where there's shootings going on, so it's probably more of a rough and tumble gang, a lot of gangs maybe. And this mom doesn't want to see her kid wind up in a gang and be dead in, 10 years, if not sooner. All right, turn him into the police. It's like those kids. Did you see the video of, because I said we were going to go later. Did you see the video of the 15 black kids who killed the white kid? They beat him to death, the 17-year-old white kid. No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, you're not seeing it on the mainstream media because it doesn't fit the narrative. Because it was just about 15 black boys who just literally killed a white boy, and he was a tall kid. You could tell he was kind of probably. They say he was quiet. He had that look of the kid who was really quiet, probably taller. He was lanky, longer hair, and the picture they're showing of him on TV, like his hair is covering his face. Like
Yeah.
Apparently this one of these kids in this gang that took one of his friend's sneakers. So they took the kid was a younger kid, smaller kid. So the kid gave him their sneakers and they threw him in a dumpster. So the older kid intervened to help the younger kid, and they descended on him like a pack of animals. They stomped him, they kicked him, they beat him, and they killed him. Oh. Hold on. What do you stop it?
Ouch.
And now they're looking for the kids. I have to tell you, man, if you're a parent, you turn your kid in if it's murder.
Yeah, if it's murder, of course.
It's a hard thing to do, but man, that's what you got. I think that's part of being a parent, right?
Mm-hmm. Got to be the hardest decision to make, but
right. But if you don't make it, I mean, I think parents choose not to make it because, like, oh, they're not going to get my kid, and maybe I can save my kid. Your
kid's gonna be a monster.
Yes, because the violence that you see with these beasts, and they always go for the head, and they just stomp on somebody's head, like. It's permanent brain damage, and they just like boom on these people's heads trying to kill them. It's not like these fights of one-on-one back in the day. Now it's one-on-one, and then like 6 other people jump in, and they're internal injuries. They're slamming your head, and they're paralyzing people. It's savage. It's really savage.
Yeah. I'd rather just be shot.
Yeah, Tina, you're old enough to use a gun. You're old enough to be held accountable. That's right. I grew up without a dad, and I never shot anyone. Look at that.
Yeah, you also know a mother who's protecting her kid from crimes. So.
Oh, she does?
Long story. Yeah, she does. Definitely does. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. Gregory, they were always threatening to send me to Dunning juvenile detention in Chicago. Yeah, my parents always told it. Well, for me, it was always, I was a good kid. I'm the oldest, the only girl. They watched me like a hawk. I wasn't getting in trouble. I never had a desire to get in trouble. What was I going to do? But my big thing was I would always complain about my clothes because they were always like, you can't wear this, you can't wear that. So my father would just look at me and go, oh, you don't like your clothes? Oh, okay. You can go to Immaculata next year and wear a uniform every day. How you like that? Like, oh, damn it.
Any clothes are better than that, right?
Damn it.
Checker skirt and sweater again.
Oh, yeah. But my brother, I mean, I guess we lived in an area where there really wasn't, I guess you could get in trouble, but there really wasn't a whole lot of place. And you grew up in a rural area. What's there to do?
Kill a cow? Which is mean.
We would never do that. I don't think anybody would do that.
No. I probably meant tip a cow, but we're talking about murder, so.
Yeah.
And even that's mean, by the way. Not.
It is. Cow tipping is very mean. I would never do that.
I love cows.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. So, all right, let's see. We're going to head out of here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any comments over here on Getter. I did not, so I'm glad that I didn't miss those. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow, I am on WBAP out of Dallas. Oddly, it's not KBAP, it's WBAP. Weird, because they're west of the Mississippi.
Yeah, that is weird. They're all K's west of the Mississippi, usually.
Yeah, and well, except that in, what is it? What's the other one? KDKY, I think is the other one. KDK, whatever it is. So I don't know why. And I asked them, I'm like, why are you WBAP and not KBAP? And they're like, that's a good question. But did no one else ask you this question? Did you never think of this before? But I'll be on tomorrow with my guest, EJ Antoni is going to join us talking about what's happening with the budget. Kate Smith from Daily Caller with news will be joining us as well. So I'll be on 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 to 5 Central Time. You can find WBAP on iHeart and on TuneIn and on the Odyssey app, or you can just go to WBAP.com online. And I'm trying to think next week. Monday, I will not be on the Chris Salcedo show because I'm in for Guy Benson 3 to 6, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week on Sirius XM Patriot Channel. And I get the funny feeling I'm going to be in for Rob Carson 3 to 6 after that. So I'll be on from noon to 6 straight radio, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
We just dropped the new South Jersey Beer Scene Presents Vic's Basement Brewcast on all of your favorite little areas.
All right, so tell people how they can watch.
They can, listen on any place you can get podcasts. Apple, Spotify, all those places.
And what's the name of the podcast?
South Jersey Beer Scene Presents Vic's Basement Brewcast.
Okay. But if you look up South Jersey Podcast Presents, it'll probably come up.
Yep. It's currently the only South Jersey Beer Scene one running. So yes.
Right. Okay. So it'll come up pretty quickly. So, okay. Yep. Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you being here with us, and we will see you again. Please subscribe, like the podcast, tell your friends, and we will be with you on Tuesday. Have a fantastic week. Bye.